All right, so now that we've made it past the first step, we know that producers, or we should know how producers are able to take the sun's energy from sunlight, use some other ingredients like water and carbon dioxide, and they can turn it into food for themselves. They make their own food, and we should know. After taking the quiz of fun, you should have been able to demonstrate that that food source is actually is a type of sugar. So they're making sugars, and that becomes food for them. Now, obviously, you're not producers. We are consumers. So I think about now, we obviously can't make our own food. So how does your body get the energy to do what it wants to do? Think about all the things you do that require energy: moving around, jumping around, sitting in front of a computer, doing distance learning. All that stuff takes energy, right? So how does your body get the energy to do what you want to do? We've looked at energy a little bit, but only from producers. But if you think back to it, what we did prior to that with Mono Lake, don't forget about food webs. Consumers have to kill and eat other organisms. And the reason we do that, obviously, not just because we're hungry, we do that to get energy. So I want you to think briefly about a different kind of energy, um, different types of sources, not in terms of food, but things like coal, gas, and wood. They're all sources of energy, and a lot of people don't realize that. So what kind of energy do we get from those sources? Like we can actually, and also how do we get the useful energy from those? So like wood in a wood stove, or gas if you have gas stoves, or oil heat as well could be included in here. Remember that the way that you release the energy and all those things is that if you think about it, you have to burn them. Um, so when you burn those things, the energy that's stored inside of coal, inside of oil, inside of gas, inside of wood, it releases that energy as a little bit of light, but also mainly in the form of heat. That's why we do it. It heats up our food so we can cook. It heats our house so we stay warm. So that kind of energy is called, it has down here, thermal energy. And you guys probably maybe never stopped to think about that, but I'm sure you knew that. So as far as people, and not even just people, if we think about some of the critters in your Mono Lake food web, um, all kinds of animals get energy by burning. And notice it's in quotation marks here: burning, not in the same way like we're going to burn wood, or metabolizing food. So it's not the same as like burning wood, but it releases energy the same way. What we actually can do is take that food and we can break it down in our cells and our bodies. And this is true again of all animals like mice, fish, whatever consumers you had in your food webs. They do this. They eat the food from somewhere, or think of your food webs, and then they break down the food in their cells, and that releases energy for us, for humans, or for whatever animal to do what they need to do. So eventually, we're going to be modeling and measuring energy transfer. But I'm going to actually stop the video here because I'm going to challenge you to, I want you in the right frame of mind of thinking about energy. So I'm going to challenge you to do a simple little exit ticket and a little task before we move further ahead tomorrow with energy. All right, so short and sweet.